Hello everyone, my name is Nate Templeton, and today let's talk about Plants vs. Zombies. Plants vs. Zombies is a tower defense strategy game that was released by PopCap in 2009. Now, I have a lot of history with this game. I played it when I was around 7 or 8 on my Kindle, and I revisit it now and then to just, see how it holds up. And I replayed it very recently for this video, and yeah, it still fucking holds up. They absolutely cooked with this shit. Um, but yeah, the way I'm going to be talking about it is just going through each stage, the different kind of plants and zombies that are introduced. I'm not going to go through I'm not going to do like an in-depth thing, like in detail review on each plant or zombie. I'm just going to be just going through it, and talking about more of the stages specifically in adventure mode. I'm not going to go into every puzzle and mini game because honestly, I don't really care. I think the adventure mode is just amazing as it is, and I think the mini games are a great addition to the game, but they're just not for me. But yeah, let's get into it. First things first, the day stage. Um, I think this is a perfect introduction to, like, a perfect start to the game. Super simple. It even starts, the first level is just one lane, and you get pea shooters to kill the zombies in that one lane. I think that's an amazing way of just explaining that zombies come from the right, they're traveling to the left. You have to stop them traveling to the left. Um, and you just do that with pea shooters. I think this is a great introduction. And then after that, it turns into 3 lanes and it introduces the sunflower, which I think is amazing. Really making sure the player understands the priority of getting more sun to make more pea shooters and do more of that. Then introduces, some of the bomb plants as like an emergency precaution. If you're getting fucked over, you can just, plant a cherry bomb and then boom, they're dead. You're good. You're safe. Then introduces the frozen pea shooter with the track, the running zombie. I think that's amazing. It introduces a zombie that's like, oh shit, this is a problem, and then it at the same time introduces a way to negate that, to stop him and make him go slower. I think that's one of the best parts of Plants vs Zombies is that its difficulty rate increase. Like, it introduces a harder zombie, but it also gives you a plant to go against that, and I think they do that very well, and it just works. It introduces the bucket head zombie, and then it gives you the repeater to hit zombies even harder to deal with that. And yeah, I think that's it for the day cycle. Nothing insane. I think it's just a perfect introduction of what is going down. There's normal zombies, and then they get harder and harder, but you also get plants that are better and better. Next up, we have the night cycle. Now, night cycle, I think another thing Plants vs Zombies does pretty well is that it switches it up, like, in a good way. Like, it doesn't switch it up too well. There's one instance, but we'll get to that later. But most of the time, they switch it up with, like, the different stage mechanics, and it's not too much of a change that you know, it's just too much for the player. It's a very steady, like I said, that rate of difficulty. It's very nice to the player. It's very, like, easygoing. Like, okay, now this is happening. I understand that, just one at a time. But there is one instance where what all I just said for the past minute does not apply, but we will get to that later. But anyways, the night cycle, or the night stage. You get introduced to the mushrooms that are good during the night because they cost less and they kind of do specific things against the zombies that come during, like, the nighttime. Like, you have the screen door zombies, you have the big mushroom shoot, like, the thing that goes through the doors. Future Nate, pull it up. But what else? And I think the night time. Oh my God, I can't speak. The night stage has some very interesting introductions of not only the zombies but with the environment, with the graves. I think that's very interesting, giving the grave eater having something able to get rid of those graves. And I think the best part of the night stage is the difference of getting the sun. Like, you can't really necessarily use the sunflowers anymore because they cost 50. So you kind of want to use those 25 cheaper sun mushrooms, and then they grow. And I think they did that very well, having the free mushroom shooters, because you don't have any sun to go around. So you can't play pea shooters right off the bat. You have to deal with these free, kind of shitty mushroom shooters, and like, I think that's perfect. And then you get to those pea shooters, and you're able to have enough sun later in the stage. I think the night stage does a really good job with that. What else? Oh, the again, with the zombies that get introduced, I think, you have the dancing zombie, you have the football zombie, um, you have like the newspaper and the screen door. I think all these zombies are great additions, very unique. Like, the day stage zombies are kind of just like, okay, normal zombie, cone zombie, bucket zombie. Like, none of them are very unique. They kind of just have more health, except for the pole vaulting zombie, but that's just one. But I think like the night stage starts to introduce more unique and harder zombies, and that is sort of a preview for what is about to happen in the future stages, where they get even more unique and even more harder, and kind of flip how the game works a little bit. And I think that's perfect. Let's get to the next stage, the pool stage. This is my favorite stage. It's amazing. I think it's very creative and just makes sense that, like, oh, this is a backyard or a lawn. You add a pool to it. Okay, yeah, makes total sense. And then, like, having water lanes as well, and how that works with like the lily pads, and having to deal with zombies coming out of the water, and the zombies that get introduced. It's just perfect. It's just amazing. And then it having an additional 6 lane, and it's like, oh damn, how am I going to deal with this? It gives you the triple pea shooter that shoots in 3 different lanes to work with that. Like, oh my god, I think the pool stage is perfect. It is, I think it's just literally perfection. And the zombies that get introduced aren't too crazy unique. You do have the dolphin zombie and the Zamboni zombie. But other than that, the snorkel zombie isn't too crazy interesting. Um, and yeah, but the plants that get introduced and the environment that is makes the game more unique, I think, is absolutely perfect. You get introduced to the torchwood and the spikes that, like, pop the tires of the Zamboni. I think it's just perfect. Um, and I think that's it for the pool. Like, I think that's all I got to say about it. It's just perfect. There's nothing else to say. And then we get into the fog, which is a bit interesting. It's still the pool, but now it's nighttime, and then you have to deal with that cloud, like the fog cloud. I think it's very interesting, the way that it is sort of like, okay, again, we have a unique setting. We're kind of going back to the nighttime, and added onto this, you have to deal with that cloud of fog. Um, I think the fog is very interesting in that me personally, Jesus, me personally, I am sort of tired. Once I get to the fog, I'm kind of just like, okay, it's the fog. But when I think about it, I'm like, okay, like, it does introduce some very cool zombies that make it like a totally different game. Kind of, like I said, flips how the game works. You have the balloon zombies, so now you have to deal with a different level. You have to use the cactus or like the clover. And then you have the mining zombie where you have the backwards pea shooters to deal with that. I think that is interesting, but just for me personally, I'm not the greatest fan of it. I'm kind of just like, okay, I get it, I understand it, and it objectively, I think it is good, but like I just feel like it's a bit too much piled on top. I'm just a lover of the pool, um, till I die, and I think the pool, and I mean the pool is the endless mode, and I used to play that a lot as a kid. Like I would just do endless mode after endless mode, and absolutely love the pool section and just get used to that. Whenever I play the fog, I'm kind of just like, I'd rather be playing the pool. But that's just me. I think the fog objectively does a good job by making it more unique and introducing more zombies that flip the script a little bit. Um, what else about the fog? I think that's it. Now, this whole video has been a little bit of a glaze fest of Plants vs. Zombies, and now I unfortunately have to sort of kind of hate a little bit for the next stage. I do not like the roof. It is not, and I just don't, and this isn't just a thing where I'm like, oh, me personally, I don't like it. I think the roof is objectively a little bit of a problem. And please don't type, don't start typing being like, you idiot, the roof is perfect, it's amazing. You keep saying that the stages get more unique and more different, and that is what makes the game more interesting for the player. How do you not like the roof? And yes, the roof does do that, and yes, it does, follow the way the game's been working the whole time of like, okay, different stage, different way to play. But I think the roof also kind of just changes the way the entire game works entirely. Like it's just it just like everything that you learned before, you kind of have to forget. And it's because, it's the slant. You have to use the throwing plants now. You can't use the pea shooters anymore. You can't use half of the things that you've learned throughout the game. I think the way those levels the way the stages prior, made you learn something was good because it didn't do it too much. It was like, okay, this is happening, but everything that you learned beforehand still applies. Like you can still play the pea shooters at night and in the fog. Like during the nighttime, you could still do all the things that you were able to do in the day. But the roof, you can't. It's just you have to completely switch to this other way of fighting the zombies. And do I think it's bad? No. I like the lettuce and the corn and the watermelon plants a lot. I think that's cool and interesting. But I think it's just weird to introduce something like that, like, and also just throw away everything else. I would love to use the watermelon and the pea shooters at the same time. I'm just not the biggest fan of just it, like not even just me being the biggest fan. I think it's just not good to flip the script of the game so much that you just kind of have to forget everything before and then mold your way of playing into what the roof is. And I think, but that's my only pet peeve about the roof. Having the pots, like the lily pads in the water, I think having the pots on the roof, that's good. Like that's a very, like it's basically makes the entire, like all 5 lanes the water, and then you have to deal with the lily pads the whole time. Like I think the pots are good, and add a good kind of uniqueness and interesting gameplay that is kind of the same as before. Like you remember the lily pads in the water, you will understand the pots on the roof. But yeah, let's get into the zombies of the roof. What gets introduced here? We got the bungee cords. I think these are good. uh, adds a little bit of, like urgency in making sure everything is protected. Like you have to make sure you're able to replace any plant that gets taken or has a zombie placed on it and gets like immediately eaten. Um, I think that's a good difficulty increase. You get the ladder zombies. Oh my goodness, excuse me. You get the ladder zombies, pieces of shit. I hate them, but I think it is another. I think it's interesting to be like, okay, you have your defense potatoes. Well, ladder kind of fucks that over. You have to replace them. I think it is good, but I just have a personal out for those guys. I don't really like the potato shooting cart guys. I don't really give a shit about them. I feel like they kind of just throw like I don't know if they're even potatoes. I kind of just assume they are, but they kind of just throw those potatoes and they don't really do anything because they just die very quickly. And then we have the giant. I love the giant. I think that's an awesome like introduction. Like in it sort of reinstates like okay, you have to use the bomb plants for these guys because they will fuck you up. And then also having the imp that he throws, I think the roof zombies are perfect, but I think the environment and this in the plants, I'm kind of just like it just doesn't. I just don't think it's good. I think it just flips everything over too much, and it's just a lot. And then the last level against I don't know his name, but like Doctor Zombie or whatever. It's some stupid name. It's a kid's game. But anyways, I think that fight is amazing. And I guess I never talked about this. The final level for every single one of these stages, I think, is amazing. Having like the conveyor belt of plants and then like it controlling every single plant you're able to get and then controlling all of the zombies that you're gonna get and like kind of having to deal with not having full control of the economy of the suns and like being able to plant whatever you want. I think that's a very interesting way to finish off a stage, and I think it's perfect. I love it so much. Anything else to talk about Plants vs Zombies? I feel like I got through all the stages, most of the Plants and Zombies. Oh, shout out to Plants vs Zombies Garden Warfare 1. I never played, I did play 2, but I didn't really like it, and I only had it now. I don't think I gave it a fair chance when I was like, I, I don't know how old I was. I was very young when that came out, and I just didn't really like it. But Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 1, one of my, not one of, it is my favorite shooter of all time, and I loved playing it. As I got, how old was I when that came out? I don't even know. I think I was like 10. Future Nate, pull up how old I was when that shit came out. But yeah, Plants vs Zombies Garden Warfare 1, absolutely loved it. It had the perfect maps. It had the perfect uh, game types. Like capture the flag or whatever. And what else? I know there are some like more recent games that have been released by PopCap for like Plants vs Zombies 2 or like Overgrown. I think is one of them. I don't know, and I don't care. I'm just going to play the original. And plus, the things that I hear about those games is that they're all shit and just bad. Like I heard, I think like the overgrowth game like used AI to upscale them. Like it wasn't generative AI, but it was still AI upscaling when they just could have talked to an artist. I don't know. All I did was watch YouTube, like some parts of YouTube videos on it. Like I'm not too into the drama of PopCap's more recent endeavors in Plants vs Zombies. I just don't give a shit. I will just play the Game of the Year edition, and that's good enough for me. But yeah, if you haven't played Plants vs. Zombies, I strongly urge you to. I think This game is a 9 out of 10. I think it is absolutely amazing. I think it does have some, like personally, I have some personal problems with it. Like I said with the roof, I think the last stage totally like flipping everything. It just rubs me the wrong way. I don't like that saying. I don't know why I said that. Future Nate, actually keep it in. I don't care. But yeah, I give it a clear 9 out of 10, and I urge people who haven't played it to play it. I think it's a super interesting, just game, and super simple for anyone to play. It's a literal children's game, but it's so good that it is still great for adults to play, and it's still interesting for any player to play. Um, but yeah, I think that's it for Plants vs. Zombies. I will see you guys in the next one.